Imagine this: a poor medieval peasant dressed in rough wool, working the fields from sunrise to sunset. You'd think they had little time for anything else, right? But here's the shocking truth. Many of these peasants knew the Bible better than most modern people today. Why? Let's dive into the medieval mindset. First, we need to understand that the Bible wasn't just a religious book, it was life itself. In the Middle Ages, faith shaped every part of society, from birth to death, from farming to festivals. Every action was connected to God, heaven, and the church. The Bible wasn't something you read once a week. It was the lens through which peasants saw the entire world. But here's the twist: most peasants couldn't even read. So, how did they know the Bible so well? The answer is powerful oral culture. Churches weren't just for Sunday sermons. They were community centers where priests and monks constantly read old biblical stories. People heard the gospel so often that they memorized them. Think of it like this: before TikTok and Netflix, stories were the entertainment of the time. And the biggest story of all was the Bible. And it wasn't only words, it was images. Step inside a medieval cathedral, and you'd see towering stained glass windows, carvings, and paintings, all telling biblical tales. These were the poor man's Bible. Even if you couldn't read Latin, you could read the stories through the art. For peasants, walking into a church was like stepping into a living Bible. Now compare that to today. We have access to dozens of Bible translations in our pockets, on our phones, yet many people barely touch it. Medieval peasants didn't have that luxury, but they lived in a world where scripture was woven into their songs, their festivals, their laws, even the rhythm of their work. Every prayer, every ritual, every bell that rang reminded them of God's presence. So, why did they know the Bible better than us? Because they weren't just learning it, they were living it. Their world was saturated with scripture. When a peasant sowed seeds, they thought of the parable of the sower. When they endured hardship, they thought of Job. When they celebrated a feast, it echoed the celebrations of the Old Testament. Here's the lesson for us today: having information isn't enough. We have more knowledge at our fingertips than any medieval peasant could imagine. But knowledge without practice often fades. The peasants show us that true understanding comes when you let a story shape your life. The medieval mindset may seem distant, but it asks us a piercing question: are you living the Bible or just reading it?